Welcome back to One Piece Anime Re-Review, Part 10A. This we're reviewing the start of the Alabasta arc, covering episodes 91 to 104. Yep. Now, I forgot to mention this in the last video we did for this review series. At the final episode of the Drum Kingdom arc, we have the introduction of Mr. 2, aka Bon Clay. A man who is, from what I can tell, looks like a transsexual. Because he basically, or at least could be gay. It's very implied by that. I have heard that this character is based upon Ace Ventura. One of two characters based on Ace Ventura. Not kidding about that. He is really based upon Ace Ventura. Well, based upon when he just like go insane and put on a tutu. Yeah, that's what this character is based on. He wears a long pink coat with the word Bon Clay on it, and his devil ability is that he can copy people. By touching, like, bam, touch your face, which means I can copy you. And, yeah, first he's headed to Little Garden. Yep, making a brief return here. Though this is actually the first time somebody actually goes to the island after the Straw Hats leave. And it makes occasional appearance after this, mostly in flashback. But yeah, in case you're wondering, now I'm thinking, okay, now Bon Clay has the right at Little Garden to kill Mr. 3 for failing to kill the Straw Hats, or he's failing the mission. Can't find him. Apparently his men actually passed by him somehow, and they arrive at Little Garden, no problem. We don't see the Giants, surprisingly, despite the fact they're on the island. I'm like, that's weird. They're on the island, and yet they're not seen. I don't know, it's quite weird. Yeah, and these guys find him over a century over and turn opposed to Elbath. Yep. And after him beating up his navigator, he's like, okay, let's go back to Alabasta. And on the way there, basically they come across what looks like a sea storm, whatever, and Bon Clay ends up in the Straw Hat ship. Somehow. Well, actually gets caught by the fishing line. Yep, shows up as Death Fruit Power, has some fun. He poses as Nami. It's like, ooh, I can hardly pose the face. He even he's up for sure. And apparently, it's implied Luffy sees Nami's breast for the first time. Like Luffy, Chopper, and Usopp. Nami, of course, does the rightful thing and slaps around Bon Clay for it. Eventually, a ship shows up and he leaves. Yep. And here's the thing: he does not see Sanji. Yeah, Sanji's actually in the kitchen. Yeah, that's the interesting thing about Sanji in this whole thing, in this whole arc. You see, throughout this entire saga, the Baroque agents have, with the exception of Vivi and Mr. 9, with the exception of those two, and of course, well, Ingram and Miss Monday, with the exception of those four agents, no one else has ever met Sanji from Baroque Works. Yeah, he is basically like in hiding or just far away. And by the way, that comes big in the Alabasta arc. I'll get to that. So, then they arrive at Alabasta. They decide to stop by a town, get some supplies, and just by sheer coincidence, Smoker, Tashiki, and Ace are there. Yes, the reason why Smoker and Tashiki are here is because Smoker has a hunch he's in Alabasta. And just by sheer coincidence, he's going to be right. And Ace is here looking for Luffy just because he's in town. Why not? And we show off the fact that he's got his Devil ability, which is basically his Fire Fist ability. I forgot to mention this when I talk about Drum Kingdom. That when Ace showed up there, his hat was black. Here, it's kind of like his orangish color. And the look he has here in this arc, this is the look he has for pretty much his rest appearances up until what happened to him in Marineford, which I'll get to that one eventually. And basically, from this point forward, after basically being with him, and of course, he briefly travels with him in filler episode. Yep, they go traveling. They basically talk about a port that Vivi knows that they gain supplies. Of course, Luffy, when he got there, he got lost and ate the disgusting powder. Turned out this was rain dance powder. Yeah, this thing is also responsible for causing it's implied this is one of the causes of the lack of rain the country has had for the past 3 years. That's in story. Yeah. For 3 years, this country has had no rain. Really? it's implied it's the rain dance powder, but in actuality, it's actually Crocodile's doing. How the heck did he stop rain? I have no idea. Though I will probably get to that when I'll get to that when they reveal that publicly. Oh yeah, and also Karu, Vivi's duck. Vivi gives him a note, and of course he runs off to see Vivi's father. By the way, he doesn't meet with him for quite some time. So I think he doesn't meet up with him until like episode 103. I think 103 and 104. It was one of those two. So, and we get a chance to see a little more Crocodile in these episodes. Here's the thing: in fill episodes, he actually is surprisingly absent for the fill episodes, which I'm like, really? Why would he be absent for? And a lot of the time, basically, Ace is basically at one point he gets briefly separate from the Straw Hats, though he gets reunited after basically frying a scorpion. And they also come across desert pirates. Yes, desert pirates who sail on the sand for some reason. I have no idea why. Yeah, that's pretty much as far as I can tell. What happens with that? And then they meet up with a guy called Scorpion. The reason why? Well, Ace was looking for him. Now, initially, he was going to this town, same place Straw Hat's going to, because he expects Blackbeard is there. And then all of a sudden, they changed it. Oh, yeah, he's looking for this one guy, Scorpion, because apparently he beat Blackbeard. And it turns out he actually lied about being Blackbeard. Yeah, he lied. Yep. And for some reason, he wanted to capture Fire Fist Ace. Ace, I know, has got a bounty on his head, but how would this guy in Alabasta, a country that probably does not know what goes on in the world government, how the heck would he know about Ace's bounty? It's not stated, I don't remember exactly, at this point in the series, it's not stated exactly how high his bounty is. They don't really say at all. Luffy's is still 30 million. Yeah, actually it's 30 million up until the end of this arc. Yeah, it actually goes up. This is actually the first arc goes up. I won't say how much it goes up until I reach the end of the very arc. Yep. So after revealing the whole thing about Scorpion and Liar, Ace leaves Luffy his Viva card, and he doesn't appear again for quite some time. Yeah, he actually doesn't return until I think it was the Sab Odi arc. Yeah, he disappears for quite some time, with the exception of a one-off appearance where he appears on Buggy's ship. Yeah, but he disappears for a long time. He's absent mostly in this. I think he pops up maybe once or twice before he pops up in Impel Down. Well, actually, he popped up briefly in Amazon Lily, but yeah, he mostly remained absent for the series for quite some time before he got captured. Yep, so, and then the Straw Hats wander some more. Also, at one point, their stuff gets stolen by a bunch of bandit birds. Yes, bandit birds. There's also a giant lizard, which they fry and then eat, which basically solves Louis' hunger. And a scorpion, a sandstorm. Yeah, very stuff associated with deserts. And then they come across a place where they think the royal base is, and it's an abandoned city. There's only one person there, the mayor. You see, it's revealed that Vivi is actually an old. Now, the leader of the rebel army is actually her childhood friend Korza. Yep, voiced in the anime in the English dub by Todd Hapercord. Yep. And in episode 101, it actually explains partially his backstory. Like, explores how he first met Vivi, called her a midget, got into a fight. And, of course, his father and Igurum basically tried to stop the fight. And Cobra's like, this is a dispute between children. Let them handle it. It's a good thing that Cobra is a very good father and very understanding about his own daughter. At one point, during the flashback, well, they had their fight, and the winner became the leader of the San clan. Yeah, it's a group of these children that just played, and their headquarters was revealed in a later episode to be a clock tower. Yeah, that becomes a plot point later of their actual base, their old base when they were children. And then there was these thugs who really wanted to kidnap Vivi because they're like their meal ticket. But look how the San clan was able to protect them. Korza got slicing it. I though this he's perfectly fine. In present day, Korza still has the scar, and he's got shades now. Yep, he's got freaking shades. Which I'm sure Heppercorn was like, man, I voiced a character who wore sunglasses, because if you look up any character he's voiced, with the exception of Korza, none of them got sunglasses. Which I I think it's quite fascinating when it comes to Todd Heppercorn, because every single character he voices wears no glasses at all, and Korza is the first one who does. Which, yeah, I get the reason why he wore sunglasses. Because he's in a desert country, so of course he wore freaking sunglasses, and he's practically like one of two characters appearing in this arc who actually bothered to wear, well, actually one of three, who wear actual glasses. Mr. 3 is there, but he doesn't really do much of anything until a little bit later. So, they actually have their base. Apparently it's a cafe called Spider Cafe. Oh, and I forgot to mention the Desert Pirates, one of whom is apparently an old childhood friend of Vivi's. When it's how they go sand surfing. Yes, sand surfing to get some lumber for the damaged ship. And, well, they're there for like 2 episodes, and they go off, and they have an episode where they meet up with some fake rebel soldiers, but they put on a show for them and basically just have them stay in the town, just don't do anything stupid. Yeah, these characters will appear again. And then by 103, we have the debut of several new characters. Well, we have Mr. 3 here spying on the debut characters, new characters. Well, the first one's appearing at this Spider Cafe. First one is Paula, who was revealed to be actually Miss Doublefinger, the partner of the third person to show up at this cafe, Mr. 1. Yes, Mr. 1 makes his debut. And he's a black man. At least guy hands Oda, at least he's actually quite diverse when it comes to how he puts people. Yeah, making a black man number 1, that's actually pretty smart for him to do. And we also see Mr. 4, this big chubby guy, and we see Miss Merry Christmas, who's an older woman who is like very impatient. Like now. That's how basically her motif is. Basically, she's very impatient, which I kind of get the whole basis of her character. It's based upon people's impatience when it comes to Christmas. Yes, because she's called Miss Merry Christmas, and her attitude is based upon people's impatience. Appearance-wise, well, they explain a little bit later what her all these characters got their powers. What they are, they actually explain them later. Also, we have it where Mr. 2 actually fights Mr. 1 briefly, and of course Paula tells him to stop. And the thing is, it's implied Paula owns, aka Miss Doublefinger, she owns this place, but here's the strange thing when it comes to Miss Doublefinger. Unlike the other characters whose partners either revolve on days or holidays, Miss Doublefinger seems like a sexual innuendo, because she's a smoking hot woman. Yeah, but it's unknown exactly why she's called that for. I get why other characters, like some of them have holidays or special days, but Miss Doublefinger? I don't know what she's named after. Yeah, so they go off to meet their boss, Mr. Zero. They meet him in the very next episode, who is actually Crocodile. Yeah, they revealed this in Whiskey Peak, that Crocodile's in charge of Baroque Works. First they meet up with Miss Olsen, the aka Nika Robin. They reveal her real name until a little bit later, but yeah, this is Nika Robin, where she introduced them to the boss of the organization, Crocodile, and they're all, rightfully so, they're all shocked to see that he's the one in charge. And it was pointed out quite obviously, why would a warlord need to be in charge of a criminal organization when they work for the war government? And Crocodile's like, I want to create my own country. That's why. And it was necessary. And all your missions were basically parts of an actual bigger mission to take over, to create an actual, basically take over Alabasta. Why he wanted to take over Alabasta is actually not revealed until toward the end of the arc. Also, they're in a place called Rain Base. It's a city. They revealed it a little later in episode 105. Also, it's also a casino, which they revealed also in episode 105, which I'll talk about that in 10B. And there's a giant crocodile swimming around. Mr. 3 shows up, surprisingly alive. Like, here's the strange thing. It's never revealed what happened to Miss Golden Week, Mr. Five, and Miss Valentine, because the Unluckies are dead. So they were killed by Sanji in the little garden arc. So what happened to these three characters? Not really stated. Well, it's stated in the cover stories what happened to Miss Golden Week. She started a restaurant with the surviving agents, one who weren't captured by the Marines at the end of the arc. Yeah, I won't say which ones, but yeah, the surviving members who weren't captured, they started a restaurant in Alabasta. Yeah, they pretty much took over the Spire Cafe, making it a regular restaurant. Yep. Now, what happened to the other two? Completely unknown. Well, at least I got handed to Crocodile for recruiting not one, but two black men, which smart for him to do. And Oda making two of the characters black, quite ingenious. So basically, it's not implied that all the characters are Japanese or purely white. I like the fact that the cast is very diverse in the series. I mean, that's one thing you could definitely say is a positive when it comes to One Piece. It's very diverse. Yep. And yeah, Mr. One does take orders from Mr. One, from Mr. Zero, aka Crocodile, but he's not a slave to him. No, he just takes orders. And he has no problem. Plus, he gets paid to do it. So this is a job for him. Yep. And in 104, we actually have, well, basically we have 103, 104 with Luffy, and they reach the town. They meet the guy who runs the town, who is actually, of course, his father. And he's digging a hole. And of course, Straw Hat Sasay Night, and Try goes other place. So Luffy helps out the old man by digging a hole. Though he's able to dig a really deep hole, find some moisture, basically, and find some water, give it to Luffy. And then, of course, when they're on the way to the Air City, Luffy just sits down next to a tree and says, "I quit." And he really wants to fight Crocodile. And he gets into a fight with VV. And proves a point. Though the way he does it, Sandy doesn't approve by beating up. But that's a point where it looks like physical abuse. Mm-hmm. Yep, and well, Defenses are, yeah, like, we're your friends. Let's fall alongside of you. Let's just deal with Crocodile. And don't worry about the Rebel Army. I mean, Rebel Army can wait. Crocodile cannot wait. So, it's all settled then. They deal with Crocodile, which they do that in episode 105. Yep, that's pretty much all I can tell what happened. That's what I remember happened in these episodes. Now, the thing with some of these episodes, I'd say I think it's like episodes like 94 to about 101. These are mostly all filler episodes. The 101 is mostly a character's, of course, his backstory, which was never explored in the actual manga itself. That was actually anime original. Which, and here's the strange thing when it comes to filler stuff. This is how the narration treats the filler. Like, they show footage of the filler, but they acknowledge it. They don't say anything about it at all. Nope. They say nothing about it once they return the canon stuff. That's one thing that I think is a negative when it comes to the series. The narrator ignores filler. Yep. But not much else to say episodes. They're good. Okay, so that's episode. If you have basically about a couple more videos I want to do. Next, of course, will be Comment Corner. And then next will be, because this did come out today, my review of the first episode of Season 2 of Re:Zero. That will come today soon. Okay, but next will be Comment Corner. Okay, see you next video. Bye.